In our last video, we explored 45 reasons Filipinos are proud of their culture and heritage. Today, we're diving into the rich and diverse history of the Philippines. We've heard a lot about Andres Bonifacio, but who was he exactly? In just 15 minutes, we'll cover key events from the pre-colonial period to the modern era, including a brief look at Bonifacio and milestones that have shaped this remarkable nation. Let's get started.
From ancient traders to colonial powers, the islands have witnessed centuries of interaction and exchange. This rich past has left an indelible mark on the Filipino people, their identity, and their place in the world. This is the story of the Philippines, a tale woven from the threads of indigenous traditions, colonial legacies, and the enduring spirit of its people. It is a story of resilience in the face of adversity, a struggle for freedom, and the continuous journey towards progress.
Join us as we journey through time, exploring the key events and figures that have shaped this archipelago nation. From the first inhabitants to the present day, the story of the Philippines is a testament to the enduring human spirit and the power of hope.
Long before foreign powers arrived, the Philippines was a vibrant archipelago with diverse, interconnected communities, each boasting its own unique culture and way of life. The earliest inhabitants, believed to have arrived by land bridges thousands of years ago, lived in scattered communities, relying on the bounty of the land and sea. These early settlers adapted to their surroundings, developing skills and techniques to thrive in their diverse environments, from coastal areas to mountainous regions. They were skilled hunters, gatherers, and fishermen, living in harmony with nature. Their deep understanding of the natural world allowed them to sustainably harvest resources, ensuring the survival and prosperity of their communities. The early Filipinos, known as Aitas or Negritos, were followed by waves of migrants from Southeast Asia. Each wave introduced new influences, blending with existing cultures to create a rich and diverse society. These newcomers brought knowledge of agriculture, metalworking, and seafaring. Enriching the cultural landscape of the archipelago, they introduced new crops, tools, and techniques, transforming the way of life for many communities. They established trading networks, connecting the islands with each other and with neighboring regions. These trade routes facilitated the exchange of goods, ideas, and cultural practices, further enhancing the complexity and richness of pre-colonial Filipino society. Barangays, small, self-governing units led by datas or chiefs, emerged as the dominant social structure. These leaders played crucial roles in maintaining order, resolving conflicts, and guiding their communities. These communities, bound by kinship and shared traditions, fostered a strong sense of community and cooperation. Communal activities such as farming, fishing, and building were integral to their way of life, reinforcing social bonds and mutual support. Oral traditions, passed down through generations, preserved their history, beliefs, and customs. Storytelling was a vital part of their culture, ensuring that knowledge and wisdom were shared and remembered. The pre-colonial Filipinos, though diverse in their languages and practices, shared a common reverence for nature and a strong sense of community. This respect for the environment was reflected in their sustainable practices and harmonious living. These values would continue to shape Filipino identity even as new forces arrived on their shores. The resilience and adaptability of these early communities laid the foundation for the rich cultural heritage that defines the Philippines today.
In 1521, Ferdinand Magellan, a Portuguese explorer sailing for Spain, landed on the island of Homonhon, marking the beginning of a new era in Philippine history. Magellan's arrival in 1521 marked the start of over 3 centuries of Spanish colonial rule, beginning a period of deep transformation for the Philippine archipelago. The Spanish brought Christianity, introduced a centralized government, and significantly altered the social and economic structures of the region. Despite the imposition of foreign rule, Filipinos managed to blend Spanish influences with their own traditions, forging a unique cultural identity that endures to this day. The Spaniards, seeking wealth and wanting to spread Christianity, made Manila the capital of their new colony. They introduced Catholicism, which slowly replaced indigenous beliefs and shaped the religious landscape of the Philippines. Spanish language, customs, and traditions began to mix with the existing ones. The Spanish colonial government introduced a hierarchical structure with centralized authority, leading to significant changes in governance and social organization in the Philippines. This system reshaped local leadership, imposed new social classes, and influenced the cultural landscape, leaving a lasting impact on the nation. The encomienda system, which granted land and labor to Spanish conquistadors, resulted in the exploitation and oppression of the native population, forcing them into harsh labor and disrupting their traditional way of life. Filipinos were subjected to forced labor, heavy taxation, and the suppression of their indigenous traditions and practices. Despite the hardships they faced, Filipinos demonstrated remarkable resilience and adaptability. They embraced elements of Spanish culture, such as language, religion, and customs, while simultaneously preserving their indigenous traditions. This fusion led to a unique cultural blend, where East met West, resulting in a rich and diverse cultural identity that is distinctly Filipino. Over time, this integration influenced everything from daily life to art, music, and governance, reflecting the resilience and adaptability of the Filipino people.
From the beginning, Spanish rule in the Philippines faced strong resistance. Filipinos fought back against colonial control through many forms of rebellion, including small uprisings and religious revolts. These acts of resistance were not merely spontaneous reactions, but were deeply rooted in a strong desire to protect their land, culture, and way of life from foreign invaders. This persistent defiance underscored the Filipino people's enduring spirit and commitment to preserving their identity despite centuries of colonial pressure. These early acts of resistance, though often suppressed, reflected a deep-seated yearning for freedom and self-determination. The spirit of resistance was passed down through generations, becoming a fundamental part of the Filipino identity. In the 16th century, Lapu-Lapu, a chieftain from the island of Mactan, fiercely defended his land against Magellan's forces and ultimately killed the explorer in battle. This event marked one of the earliest recorded victories of native Filipinos against European colonizers. This victory, a testament to Filipino bravery, became a symbol of resistance against foreign aggression. It inspired other leaders and communities to fight back against the Spanish, despite the overwhelming odds. Religious revolts ignited by the oppression of native beliefs and abuses by Spanish friars erupted across the archipelago. These uprisings were not only about religion, but also a struggle for cultural survival and autonomy. Diego Silang from Ilocos and Francisco Dagohoy from Bohol led major uprisings against Spanish authority, fighting for greater autonomy. Their leadership and bravery became legendary, inspiring many others to join the struggle. These early acts of resistance, though ultimately unsuccessful in overthrowing Spanish rule, planted the seeds of nationalism and paved the way for a more organized struggle for independence in the centuries to come. The legacy of these early resistances can be seen in the later movements that eventually led to the Philippines' independence. The memory of these heroes would serve as a source of inspiration for future generations of Filipinos fighting for freedom. Their stories are a testament to the enduring spirit of resistance and the unyielding quest for self-determination that continues to define the Filipino people.
By the late 19th century, a strong sense of national identity was emerging in the Philippines. After centuries under Spanish colonial rule, Filipinos began to envision a future of self-governance and independence. The Katipunan, a secret society founded by Andres Bonifacio, became central to this movement. It rallied people from various backgrounds to challenge Spanish oppression and fight for a free and self-determined Philippines. This growing national consciousness set the stage for a revolutionary struggle that sought to end colonial rule and reshape the nation's future. Fueled by Enlightenment ideas, economic exploitation, and the writings of Filipino intellectuals, a movement for independence gained momentum. The works of thinkers like Jose Rizal and Marcelo H. del Pilar inspired many to dream of a nation free from oppression and tyranny. Secret societies advocating for reform and separation from Spain began to operate underground. These groups, often meeting in the dead of night, laid the groundwork for a larger, more organized resistance against the colonial government. In 1892, Andres Bonifacio, a passionate young man from the working class, founded the Kataas-Taasang Kagalang-galangang Katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan, or simply the Katipunan. Bonifacio, inspired by the ideals of liberty and equality, sought to unite Filipinos in a common cause. This clandestine revolutionary society, dedicated to achieving full independence from Spain, drew Filipinos from all walks of life, united by their longing for freedom. From farmers to intellectuals, the Katipunan became a diverse coalition of individuals devoted to the cause of liberation. The Katipunan, through its clandestine network and revolutionary ideals, ignited the flames of rebellion. Its members, driven by a shared vision of a free Philippines, worked tirelessly to recruit and organize, often risking their lives in the process. Its members, bound by oaths of secrecy and loyalty, spread the message of independence across the archipelago, preparing for the eventual clash with the colonial power. They used coded messages and secret symbols to communicate, keeping their plans hidden from the Spanish authorities. Bonifacio's leadership, along with the intellectual contributions of Emilio Jacinto, the brains of the Katipunan, provided the ideological foundation for the Philippine Revolution. Jacinto's writings, particularly the Cartilla ng Katipunan, served as a moral and ethical guide for the revolutionaries. Their writings and speeches, infused with patriotism and calls for social justice, inspired a generation of Filipinos to fight for their right to self-determination. The words of Bonifacio and Jacinto echoed through the hearts of the people, fueling their resolve to break free from colonial rule and build a nation founded on the principles of freedom and equality.
In August 1896, Spanish authorities discovered the Katipunan's plans, compelling Andres Bonifacio and his comrades to start their revolution earlier than planned. This discovery accelerated their efforts, leading to a decisive and determined struggle for Philippine independence. The Krayapugad Lawin, a historic event where Katipuneros tore their cedulas in defiance of Spanish rule, marked the beginning of the armed struggle for independence. The Philippine Revolution, fueled by the desire for freedom and social justice, spread like wildfire across the archipelago. Filipino revolutionaries, armed with bolos and bamboo cannons, engaged Spanish forces in fierce battles, demonstrating remarkable courage and determination against a superior enemy. While Bonifacio led the early stages of the revolution, a young general from Cavite, Emilio Aguinaldo, emerged as a prominent military leader. Aguinaldo's victories against Spanish forces in Cavite propelled him to prominence, leading to his election as president of the revolutionary government. The Philippine Revolution, though ultimately short-lived, marked a turning point in the country's history. It awakened a national consciousness, uniting Filipinos from different islands and social classes in a common struggle for freedom.
During World War II, the Philippines was occupied by Japanese forces. The period was marked by intense fighting, suffering, and a strong resistance movement. The war ended with the liberation of the Philippines by Allied forces in 1945, paving the way for independence.
The Philippines gained independence on July 4, 1946, and that date was celebrated as the national holiday until President Diosdado Macapagal moved it to June 12 in 1964. Key moments include the declaration of martial law by President Ferdinand Marcos, the People Power Revolution in 1986, and the transition to democracy. Today, the Philippines is a vibrant country with a rich history that continues to evolve.
And there you have it, Philippine history in just 15 minutes. From ancient times to the modern day, the story of the Philippines is one of resilience, diversity, and an enduring spirit. Don't forget to check out the videos that pop up on the screen or in the description below. If you're eager to learn more about the Philippines or dive into other historical events from around the globe, be sure to explore our other videos. Please support us by subscribing, liking, and sharing this video. For those who are already subscribed, thank you for your support. Don't forget to like and share this video. See you in the next one.